Laura Croft Tomb Raider, Season 2, Episode 1, No Good Deed for Croft. It's your boy, Icon, back with a little Tomb Raider action for Netflix Season 2. Before we get started, hit that notification bell, like it, or subscribe. Check out my previous reviews for Tomb Raider, and let's get started because Haley Atwell is back in Lady Croft's shoes. So, in this opening episode, because when we last left Lady Croft, she was trying to find her friend Sam because Sam was captured, and Laura felt bad because her and Sam were on the outs and they hadn't spoken for a while, and she wanted to know what was going on, and she found out she was being captured. She's like, oh shit, she's like, I blew it with my friend. So I'm thinking this entire season is going to be full of the chase to find Sam. We're going to find Sam. We're going to find out what evil criminal organization has Sam captured. And it's going to be 8 episodes of trying to reunite Sam with Laura. No, she pretty much found her in the first 10 seconds of the episode, which was hilarious to me. And I'm just like, okay, so that just went completely out the window. When Laura found her, she was tied up by some goons, and when Laura went to go save her, went to go rescue her, some random Amazon woman came out of nowhere, and she helped Laura Croft save Sam. Sam told Laura, she said that she was investigating some paintings, and then it turns out that people were like stealing these paintings and whatever the case may be, and the person who was stealing the paintings found out that Sam was on to her, and then they beat up Sam, and they actually did beat her up. They beat up Sam and like tied her up. I don't know why they tied her up instead of just flat out killing her. That was weird. But Laura said, and now I'm starting to think that, well, we'll get to that in a minute. So, so Laura shows up, she saves Sam, and then this random Amazon woman, came out of nowhere. She assisted Laura in helping save Sam, and then when the three of them were talking and Sam was telling them what happened, the Amazon woman said, I want you to meet my employer because she wants to talk to you both. Now, my whole thing is, because she said that right out the gate, I was just like, her employer is probably the one that kidnapped Sam and kidnapped Sam on purpose just so Laura could show up so she can actually get a meeting with both of them. Maybe we'll find out later if that's true or not. So she goes to the woman's place. She owns this, this organization called the Sith, or something like that. It's an organization of people who are responsible for finding historical, artifacts and returning them to the places, the countries, the lands from which they came. And then she was saying, like, Sam, she was like, you'd be a great asset to our company, as well as you, Lady Croft, because she's like, with your talents, we can find all the artifacts, and return them to where they belong. And then she said, just like your father, because she said your father, he was from the old ways, like the old guard, where he would obtain certain artifacts and donate them to museums. She said some of the artifacts that he obtained was obtained unethically, and she did have, an example for her. She said that this particular mask was in your daddy's possession. She said that this mask was stolen from the people of Central America, and it's now residing in the Croft Museum. And she was like, we can return this, and we can finally pay back, like all the wrong that was done to these people. So Laura was kind of like fishy about it, what I'm saying? Like, she didn't really trust the woman. And then after that, like, it went to some weird transition of her talking to the woman at her hideout. And then we just shifted over to Laura and the whole crew just like hanging out at her house, like throwing darts and like having drinks. I'm just like, I thought it was like a dream sequence or something, like a past sequence, but no, it was present sequence. And then Laura was just thinking, and then, she was just like, you know what? Maybe there's some truth to all this. So she goes down to the museum, and then she goes and speaks to the curator of the museum, and she was like, oh, I want to take back the mask that I donated. And then he was like, no, because he said when you donated it, he's like, you signed over all like ownership, and he was like, we actually own it now, so be gone, Lady Croft. And then she stole it like the very same night. And now my whole thing is, the police should be showing up at her door, because if you have a conversation with the curator of the museum about getting the mask back, he tells you no, and then that same night the mask ends up stolen, obviously you're the one who stole it. So I don't know why when she woke up the next day she wasn't in handcuffs and she wasn't being taken down to the precinct, like being questioned about the mask. Like, that was crazy to me. I'm just like, we all know she stole it. Everybody knows she stole it. So she takes the mask, she gives it back to the woman. And when the woman came out of a room to go talk to Laura, there was a quick shot of the trident that belongs to the king of Atlantis. It was in the room that she was studying. So clearly this particular season is going to be all about Atlantis, and it's going to have things to do with Atlantis. She comes back out. Laura gives her the mask, and then she's like, oh, thank you, Miss Croft. She's like, does that mean you want to work together? And she was like, no. She's like, I only did it because it was the right thing to do, and it was about time. And then the curator of the museum, he said to Laura, he was like, I can't let you have the mask because it's our job to be like the protectors, like the collector protectors, the ones who protect, you know, like artifacts. And then the woman said the same thing to her. She was just like, oh, you and me, Lady Croft, together, we could be the protectors. And then Laura was like, what? She was like, that's the same shit that Homeboy said. So maybe the curator's like her daddy, like or something. But like Laura caught that, but she gave the woman the mask. She put a tracker in the mask so she could follow her. And then she followed the woman all the way to South America. And I'm like, that's wild. Like, that's wild. She goes to South America. She's following this woman because the woman said she just wanted to return the mask to the people of South Central America. She gets to the village where the mask came from. There was a gentleman there. She took the mask out of her bag and she gave it back to the gentleman who was, like, I guess in charge of the village. And then that's when Laura was just like, oh, get a grip, Croft. She was like, not everybody's trying to destroy the wild. And then she kind of felt bad. And she was like, you know, maybe this woman's on the up and up after all, and maybe I can trust her. And then as soon as Laura like had those thoughts, a big explosion happened. The woman had the mask on her face and she just started destroying the entire village and sucking out people's souls. Now, my whole thing is, just because like I said, when I saw the woman, my first thought was like, okay, clearly you're the bad guy. But because she was like, just because she was wearing the mask doesn't mean she's an evil person, doesn't mean she's the villain, because we never actually saw the transition of her taking the mask and putting it on her own face. Because when she handed the mask over to the guy, it cut to Laura and we didn't get to see like what transpired until the woman had the mask on her face. For all we know, the mask probably has a spirit inside that attached itself to the woman's face, and the mask is the villain, not necessarily the woman. The woman could be true to what she says about wanting to like return these artifacts. I don't know. It's like I said, it's not guaranteed that she's the bad guy, because the way that they were playing with those camera angles and everything, I was just like, nah, it does leave some doubt. But the whole thing ended with this woman with the mask on her face now destroying the entire village. Laura was just like shocked and appalled. She's like, dear God, what have I done? She's like, I've created a monster. That was how the first episode ended, and thank you for tuning in. So this looks like this is going to be good. Looks like it's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of action. Like I said, the Sam thing just kind of went out the window, but I'm still waiting for Reyes because, again, this is based on the PlayStation video games, like the Lara Croft Tomb Raider video games. It's the same characters. Like we got Roth, we got Jonah, we've got Sam, and eventually we're going to have Reyes because Reyes don't play that shit. And I look forward to that when it happens. But I also look forward to seeing how the whole season unfolds and whether or not this woman turns out to actually be the bad guy. So share your questions, comments, and concerns. What did you think about this particular episode of Tomb Raider Season 2, Episode 1? And put your comments down below. Check me out on Instagram, on X, on TikTok, and YouTube, where you can leave your questions, comments, and concerns. Like I said, let me know what you thought about this one. Check out my other reviews because I got John Cena's last match, for the wrestling fans. Like I got the Saturday Night's Main Event up on my channel. You can check out my previous reviews for Season 1 of Tomb Raider, and check out my Season 2 review when it comes live on Red Eyes Entertainment. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. So 2 guns up for Lara Croft because we's back, baby. And until then, we're out this.